Good morning, everybody. My name is Jen, the Caffeinated Crafter. Today is Sunday, October the 5th. Sunday, October the 5th, 2025. Yeah, October the 5th, 2025. Welcome to my channel. If you're new, welcome. If you're returning, welcome back. So let's go ahead and talk about my stitching. Did I get everything done that I wanted to get done? No, like I knew I wasn't gonna get all the projects done, but I also didn't get to get done the stuff I actually wanted to get done. There was, 2 days where I didn't really get a lot done stitch wise. Like Friday was my son's football game, so I was at that, so we didn't get home until late. We had to eat dinner, all that, and then Saturday they went off with my stepdad to go watch my nephew's baseball game, and then they came back. We had to go pick out a shirt for Peyton because it was his homecoming last night. So he had everything, he wanted a new shirt. So we went and got a shirt and I had to take him. It was just the timing of everything was just enough to where I didn't want to sit down and start stitching because I was gonna get interrupted anyway. So I didn't really get to start stitching until after I picked him up and got home. So it's like once I dropped him off, I had to go grocery shopping. I had to make dinner for me and Lachlan. I had to go pick him up. So it was just, yeah. So anyway, all that to say, I did get a good amount of stitching done. I just didn't get to get everything done that I wanted to. So I got all my temperature stitching done. I got the makeup stitching for temperature stitching done. I didn't get to catching rays. I didn't get to my alphabet. I gotta do this, I gotta do this one for Bake Off still. Obviously I didn't get all the Monopoly stitching done, I knew that, but I was able to do the makeup stitching and the current stitching for one of my gridiron grind pieces, but I didn't get to the other one, so now I gotta make that up. So hopefully I'll be able to get back on track with that. So anywho, here's my board. And let's go ahead and get into what I was able to get done. We'll start off with we also need to talk about the winner for the replacement piece for temperature stitching too. Okay, so let's go ahead and start with the temperature stitching. So first one up is going to be, let's do this in order. So my temperature stitching, I have 5 projects assigned to the numbers 0 through 9. They each get 2 numbers. I look at the upcoming week. I do the forecasted. You can do the previous day, whatever you want to do. But I do the forecasted temperatures for the week, and that way I know if I can work on them ahead of time, I go ahead and do that. But I do forecasted temperatures. I take the second digit of the temperature. So if the temperature is forecasted to be 68 degrees, happens like for a week. If the temperature is forecasted to be 68 degrees, I take the project that's assigned to the number 8 and I do 100 stitches on it. So I have 5 projects assigned to 2 numbers, so we're going to go in the order of how they are, because I have 1 to 0 and 5, 1 to 1 and 6, 2 and 7, 3 and 8, and 4 and 9. I tried to keep it kind of even. So 0 and 5 didn't have any stitches this week, but 1 and 6 is assigned to Magnificent Wizard. This is a Dimensions Gold Collection designed by Dawn Mates. Yeah, Dawn Mates, and it's being stitched with everything that came in the kit on an 18 count black Aida. So this was actually makeup stitching because I didn't get to the stitches last week. So I just needed to do 100 stitches to make up for that. And this is where I got to. So as you can see, I think all of it was up here in the sky, like in the cloudy part. I think it was all up in there. So it's coming along. So what I had done was I had worked my way out. My plan of attack for this part is I worked my way out to the edge, and then I kind of worked one of the colors up and down, I believe it was. Yeah, and now I'm like kind of filling in, going back this way. So, but yeah, that's where that is. I really wanted to get my temperature stitching like caught up because there was 3 pieces that I wasn't able to get to last week. And so I was like, I really wanted to focus on getting my temperature pieces caught up because we are coming to a point where we are getting close to replacing one. And so last week I had you guys vote for a replacement. So we'll announce that winner today. Next up, assigned to numbers 2 and 7 is Aurora Cabin. This is another Dimensions gold piece designed by Kim Norling, and it's being stitched. It's being stitched on a 16 count gray Aida. I know a lot of people have done this piece. And again, using everything that came in the kit. This one ended up, it needed 100 stitches for this past week, like current stitches, and then it needed, my nose itches, it needed 100 stitches to make up for last week. And so I ended up doing 200 on it. Finished off the thread that was hanging up here, and then I worked on the tree that's right there. I think there's another color, like not that dark blue, that's like, seems like it covers the whole sky, but there was another shade. I don't know if you can tell the difference. Yeah, you can kind of tell, I can kind of tell now. Right here, I did that too. So, I'll be excited when this is done because it's really pretty. I love that cabin. I don't even have any of it backstitched yet, and it looks so good already. Okay, so there's that one. And if anyone's looking at these, I know I explain this every video, but I get new subscribers every week. So, I mean, I get new subscribers every week, like 3. Like, it's not like I'm getting hundreds, but if I do 2 half stitches, I need to do 2 half stitches to count as a stitch. So, and that sky is almost all half stitches. So that's why sometimes, same with Magnificent Wizard, but that's why sometimes it looks like there's more stitches than what I'm saying there is. Next up for 3 and 8 is Frederick. This is a kit from Creative Accents, which is a division of Dimensions. But this is available, I'm looking for the cover photo, here it is. This is available through Dimensions. This is designed by Charles Wysocki, and it's being done on a 14 count black Aida. Yeah, 14 count black Aida. I'm currently working in this area right over here. And this one got 300 stitches, and that was all for the current week. Hang on one second, let me move these over here, and there's my 300. So I got this book filled in, and that way I was able to take the black back stitch and run it all the way down. And hang on one second, what did I do? I think I ran it all the way down and I was able to end it. I started filling this book in right here. Oh no, my black back stitch is, sorry, I saw this black thread and I was like, oh, is that my back stitch? No, it's not. I carried it down and I carried it over here, and I think that was like the end of it anyway, or enough to where I was like, okay, we can go ahead and end it. This is just the black that comes up here, And then I was tired of working on black. So I came over here and started working on the green. Because there's like, I think there's like a whole section right there. Like multiple. Yeah, I think that's like a big chunk of black right there. Yep, that I didn't feel like doing. So I just left the thread hanging. And I was like, I'll go back to that later. So that got 300. Okay, and then the final temperature piece is assigned to the numbers 4 and 9. I'm looking at my board down here. Assigned to the numbers 4 and 9, and this is another Dimensions Gold collection. In Her Garden, designed by Sandra Cuck. And this is being stitched on 18 count ivory Aida. And I am in the boring part, right there. So for this one, the current week, it came up 3 times. And last week, it had come up twice. And I didn't get to it last week. So I was like, oh, let me go ahead and try to do makeup stitching for that. Is it gonna rain? I gotta mow my lawn today. I hope it doesn't rain because I really need to mow my lawn. Okay, so anyway, that was 500 stitches that I was gonna have to do, which is fine. It's gonna look like a crap ton because I'm in that boring ass background. It legit is boring ass background. And it's all half stitches. So I ended up doing 1,000 half stitches, just about. I think there was a couple things that might have been full crosses, but it might have all been half stitches. I don't know. But anyway, here we are. Big old chunk got done. So I got 500 stitches on this, or 1,000 half stitches. And yeah, I'm almost matched. But so if you are new to me, I had started in the middle a long time ago. I was working here, and then I was like, I want to go up to the corner. So I took some of these colors and I just kind of worked my way up to the top corner, and then I just started filling it in. Going, there's like this, is there something there? That might be her, I think. I don't know, but this was like a good kind of stopping. It might have just been where I had put those stitches to kind of get up to the top. But I was like, oh, this will be a good kind of like stopping point to kind of section this off. And so that's what I ended up doing. I kind of went out this way a little bit, but not much. But I've been just trying to get this filled in so that this matches back up. So there's that. Okay. Next, let's go over my gridiron grind. Yeah, so gridiron grind was started by Kim Hollenbeck on YouTube. She is Spartan Stitcher on Instagram, and she is an admin for Full Coverage Fanatics. You can play the game however you want, but basically it's a way to tie in football to your cross stitching. How I'm doing it is I have one piece assigned to my home team, which is the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, and I have one piece assigned to whoever they are playing against. And these 2 pieces are pieces for my kids. I am doing 10 points, 10 stitches per point for each team. And then whichever team wins, they get an additional 100 points. And then if the score is greater than a 10-point difference, they get an additional 100 stitches. What did I just say? So essentially, it'll be their score times 10 plus 100 if they win, plus another 100 if the gap is greater than 10 points. So I did not get to the opposing team. They played, who did they play? They played the Eagles, I think it was. Pretty sure, yeah, they played the Eagles. The Bucks played the Eagles, and the Bucks scored 20. It was, the score was I forgot the score. Hang on one second. Okay. I had to go double check because I was sitting there staring at my thing and I was like, wait a minute, something's not adding up. So I had actually messed it up. So I'm glad I double checked. Okay. So the score was 31-25 Eagles. And that's why I was staring at my board, because I was like, I had written 310 for the opposing team, like for stitches. And I was like, wait, something's not right, because, yeah. So it was supposed to be 410, but I didn't get to it anyway, so it doesn't matter. I'll just do it this week. But I had to do 250 points, or 250 stitches for this week's stitching, plus 390 from last week that I didn't get to on my home team piece. So I got all that done. I just didn't get the opposing team. So I'll show you guys that piece later once we go over plans. But my piece I'm working on for the Bucks is Bathy Scaife. This is charted by Heaven and Earth Designs. Artwork is by Jacek Yurka. And that is what it's going to look like when it's done. This piece is one that my 15-year-old picked out when I did the Hayes Sal last year. The prize for completing the piece was all the charts that were available for the Sal plus 2 off of their website. And so I let my kids each pick one. And so this is the one he picked. And then the other one is the one that my 12-year-old picked. But this is 450 by 451 and it has 88 colors. So this got a total of 640 stitches. This is being stitched 1/1 full cross on a 32 count easy count Lugana. And this is where we are with it. Let's try that. There we go. I now have a total of 1,670 stitches completed out of 202,950. I am at 0.82%. Upper left-hand corner start. The chair, this right here is part of the chair that's like kind of sitting going this way. This is like some kind of fishing rod thing looking deal. I think it looks kind of dark on camera. It looks a little dark on camera, but this is flooring right here. You can see it better in person, but it does look darker on camera. So there's that. Like I said, I didn't get to my my other piece, so I'll have to do makeup stitching for that plus this week's. I'm not gonna lie, I'm kind of hoping for a low scoring game, but I doubt that's gonna happen. Oh, because I got so much stitching to do. Okay, so that was Gridiron Grind. That's all I have to show you for that. Let's now go over Monopoly. I only got to work on 2 of the pieces for Monopoly, so I've got a lot to do to make up. So this is gonna be a rough week. We'll see how I do. If I do not get all of the stitching done in Monopoly, I've been doing rounds every other week. We are still going to play, so just a heads up, we are still going to play a round of Monopoly next week, like we normally do. If I don't get all the stitching done, I will have to make up for that, and some other stuff is probably going to have to kind of be set aside so that I can get my Monopoly stitching done. But we'll see. We'll see how it goes. But regardless of how I do this week with my stitching, we are still going to play a round of Monopoly next week if you're playing along at home. But first piece I was able to work on is Halloween letters. This is designed by Lindsay Waite, charted by Primrose Cottage Stitches. That's what it's going to look like when it's done. I'm using the called for thread, except for a few, there's a few replacements I did. And I'm doing it on a 14 count. I think this is a dirty Ada. I think the color's dirty. Or it's milk chocolate, one of the two. I have no clue. It might be dirty. This needed 100 stitches. And that is where I got to with it. So the replacements I did is I subbed out coal for 310. The white, I'm doing, it was supposed to be whitewash, and I'm doing B5200, and then the ghosts I'm doing in a glow in the dark Petite Silk Lame. So that is where that is. I finished this thread off. What did I do? I don't even know. I finished that black off. Gracie wants in. I don't remember. I really don't remember. So you're just going to look at that. You'll be able to tell. And I'll be able to tell once I edit this and add the before photo. I just don't know right now. I do know I finished this off, and obviously I started working on the ghost. I think I got him outlined and started filling them in, but I feel like I may have come over here. I might have put this in. I think I might have put this in. I don't know, man. So that's really cute. It looks like it's close to being done, but there's actually still like 2 more rows of stuff. So, all right, so that one got 100. And then the only other one that I was able to work on is Coffee Break. This is a kit from Design Works. Artist is Krista Hamrick. I'm using everything that came in the kit, and it's on a 14 count white Ada. I am currently in the iced coffee block down here in the bottom corner. I'm doing it block by block and completing each one before I move on to the next one. So this piece needed 400 stitches. I'll show you where I worked first, and then I'll show you everything that I've done. So here we go. Brought this border out a little bit. I don't think I touched this part. I got this line put in. So this is the part of the eye. It'll say iced coffee over here. Essentially, I had some mistakes in the ice. I fixed it. I got some back stitching done on the cup. So back stitching or cross stitching wise, I have to finish the border, and I have to do the spoon and the bottom of the cup. Cross stitching wise, that's it. This entire section here, cross stitching is done. I just got to go in and back stitch. So that's all that's left on this, is basically cross stitch the spoon and the bottom of the cup and the border, and then back stitch, finish back stitching everything. So this block is getting close to being done. That's exciting. All right. That's all the Monopoly stitching I was able to do. Okay, let's do Bake Off. So Bake Off. I am cross stitching along with the Great British Bake Off. It is available on Netflix, and I'm doing the current season, so I'm not announcing what pieces are assigned to what baker. I'm just telling you what happened so that you know what I had to work on. I did miss one of the things. I didn't get to one of them, but it was only 100 stitches, so it's fine. But I did the stitching for the Star Baker, who had, Oh, okay, here it is. All right. So the person who got Star Baker also got first in technical. So first in technical and last in technical and handshakes all get 100 stitches on that person's whip. And then Star Baker gets 200. The eliminated Baker gets 300 because their piece will no longer be in circulation. So this person got first in technical and they got Star Baker. Probably help if I tell you what the piece is. This is Sweet Bee by Stitch Robia. That's what it's going to look like when it's done. So this needed 300 stitches. And there we go. I got all of the cross stitching in this section right here completed. And now I'm going to, when it comes out again, I will continue back stitching until that piece is, that section is done. And then I will move on to another one. I'm doing this with a called for DMC 2/2 full cross on a 28 count Jobelin in a mystery color. I have no idea what color it is. And then the other piece that I was able to get to for Bake Off, this person was eliminated. So this got 300 stitches for the elimination, and this is closed now. Let's try this again. This is Sugar Skull. It is a kit from Artiste. That is what it's going to look like when it's done. And I'm using everything that came in the kit, and it's being stitched on a 14 count white Aida. And this is where my 300 stitches got me to. So I still have a little bit more back stitching right here to do. But yeah. So got a lot more done on that, so that's exciting. I'm liking it a lot more now that I'm getting some back stitching in there. I like it a lot more now. Like, I liked it, but I was like, when I was stitching, I was like, I don't know if I like this. But now that I'm getting the back stitching in, it's a lot better. But that's all you're gonna see for Bake Off for that. Okay, next up, let's go over like my weekly stuff. So, I got 3 projects left. First up is going to be the open goal thing. So basically trying to wrap up some of these goals by the end of the year that I had open goals on. That I just keep out until the goal that I had set for them at the beginning of the year gets completed. So for this one is Holiday Quaker. This is by Layla's Studio. And it was originally, like, not originally, but it was a Bake Off piece. And when it got done for Bake Off, it had 500 stitches left. So I kept it out to get the goal done. Now it can go away until next year. I'm doing it with the call for threads. They're all Gentle Arts. And I'm stitching it on a 32 count Lugana in the color Something Blue by Mystic Fabrics. And this is where I got to with it. So I got this motif done, and I came over here because it was easier to start here as opposed to trying to count off anywhere. I came over here and I started working on that angel. It's gonna say, I have the angel almost done. All I have to do is backstitch her eyebrows and her mouth, and then that angel itself will be done. And then down here it's going to say Joy to the World, and it'll have a pretty border around it. But yeah, so this goal is now completed. So you're not going to see this again. I'm trying to think if I have it in my plans for next year or not. I don't remember. Oh my God, Gracie. Okay, so, but yeah, goal done. Yay! Okay, next up is, I did not get to my whip into shape piece. I'll have to make that up too. But next up is the 6 portals. This is by Pain Free Crafts. Artwork is by Rose Kahn. It is 1206 by 800. It has over 200 colors. That is what it's going to look like when it's done. This is my second biggest piece. And where I worked was in this portal over here. Nothing exciting. I'm in this top part. So nothing exciting, but I did work on portal 6. And I got my 300 stitches done on it that I said I was going to do. I just got to find it. Here we go. There's my 300. So when I started this piece, what, 7 weeks ago? Wow, has it been that long? I bought it and I started it as soon as I got my fabric, and I worked my way across the top, and then I went back and I worked on each portal one per week. So here's portal 1, portal 2, portal 3, 4, 5, and the one I just showed you, portal 6. Wow, I can't believe it's been 7 weeks already. Oh, that looks neato. I like that. That's cool. So I did that in preparation for the fact that I wanted to rotate through each portal for a total of 2 months next year. So this will continue to stay out, but now that I didn't even tell you my stitches. Give me one, hang on. So I did the 300 on portal 6. So I now have a total of 2,604 stitches completed out of 964,800. I am at 0.27%. So on that note, it's going to continue to stay out, but now that I have worked across the top, and now that I have worked about the same amount of stitches, like when I focus on each one for a week, I did 300 in each one. Now that I've done that, if I need to let something slide because of other stitching that I didn't get to, I'm okay with it now. Does that make sense? So I wanted to work on each one each week, right? But now that I've worked on each one for that week, now I'm like, okay, if I need to let it go, then it's okay. I'll just make it up. But it's gonna stay out, and I'm gonna start back over. We'll go over it in plans. I'm gonna start back over at portal 1. Okay, final whip. I did get my monthly goal done, like I said I wanted to. This last piece is Honeymoon Sunset. I was hoping that I was going to be able to work on it for another day this week, but that just didn't happen. But this is Honeymoon Sunset. This is charted by the Cross Stitch Studio. Artwork is by Abraham Hunter. It's 864 by... How do I not have this memorized already? 869 by 649, and it's 133 colors. My goal is to get it to 50% by the end of the year. And so I had a monthly goal to increase it by 1% every month. I'm doing this on a 25 count, easy count Lugana 2/1/10 stitch. And so my goal for September was to get it to 47%. And I did. After I got done filming and I sat down to stitch that day last Sunday, I worked on it and got it to the 47%. So here's the section I worked in. I did 1,009 stitches. This is one of the Adirondack chairs. This is like the back of the leg, and this is the back of the chair coming up. I am now sitting at 2,650. Hold on. I am now sitting at 265,000. There we go. 375 stitches completed. Out of 563,981, I am at 47.05%. I do this every time. Can't see. There we go. So 47.05%. My goal for October is to get it to 48%. God, that looks so good. Okay. So yeah, goal for October is to get it to 48%. Okay. That's all my whips. That's all I was able to get to. Let's update the boards real quick. First thing we're going to update is, because it's right here, is my temperature board. Okay. One second. I don't need my calculations for, here we go. I don't need my calculations for this board per se, but I did need it for something else. I wanted to make sure I had that page handy. Okay, so temperatures. I did not work on Blessed Nest. I did work on Magnificent Wizard for 100 stitches. So we are increasing my stitches from 1,300 to 1,400. And my goal is dropping from 700 down to 600. Aurora Cabin, I did a total of 200. So this is increasing from 800 to 1,000. And my goal is dropping from 1,200 down to 1,000. Frederick, I had 1,000. I did another 300, so this is increasing to 1,300. And my goal is dropping from 1,000 down to 700. And then in her garden, I had 1,200. I did another 500 on it, so this is increasing to 1,700. And my goal is dropping from 800 down to 300. So we are really close in getting that piece replaced. We actually have 4 of them are under 1,000 stitches to their goal. So that's cool. And I got to announce the winner of the first replacement piece as well. Okay, let's do the active whips here. So this is where all my bake-off pieces are. Well, this is the board I pulled them from. So the ones that I got to work on, Sweet Bee, I had 1,100. I did another 300 on this, so it's going up to 1,400. And the goal is dropping from 900 down to 600. So if this goal gets done before that person gets eliminated, I will just switch it out with something else. Holiday, hold on, let me do the other bake-off piece. Sugar Skull. I had 1,111 stitches. I did 300, so this is going up to 1,411, and the goal is dropping from 1889 down to 1589. So that was all I was able to do for bake-off stitching. And then for the goal completed, Holiday Quaker, I had 1,500. I did 500, so this brings it up to 2,000. This was a former temperature whip. That's why that goal is lower than most. And 500 down to 0. So this goal is done. So this will come off the board. That's what all those spaces are. That's my goals coming off the board as they get completed. Honeymoon Sunset. I had 52,458 stitches. I did another 1,009, so this is increasing to 53,467. And my goal is dropping from 17,622 down to 16,613. And my goal, or my percent, increased from 46.88% to 47.05%. Yay, we hit 47%. And I was able to do it before the end of September, so that's cool. All right, and then we got one more board to update. My Monopoly board. I worked on 2 pieces for this. One was coffee break. I had 2,500. I did another 400, so this increases to 2,900. And my goal is dropping from 1,500 down to 1,100, right? Yeah. And then Halloween letters, I had 1,200. I did 100 on it, so now this is going up to 1,300. And my goal is dropping from 2,800 down to 2,700. My Monopoly pieces, I had goals of 4,000 stitches. Back when I had high hopes of getting more work done. What was I thinking? Okay. So, let's announce the winner. Let's announce the winner for the voting replacement for temperature whips. It's not, you're not going to see it right now. I just want to announce the winner. You guys had the option of voting between Walking to Town by Dimensions or Goodnight Bears from Designs for the Needle. And it was so close. Like, it was a tie. It was 40 to 40. So I had Lachlan pick the winner because it was, I would count it up the last minute votes that slid in before the deadline. It was literally 40 to 40. I was like, oh man, okay. So I had Lachlan pick the winner, and he said that he wanted me to do Walking to Town because he wants it when it's done. He was like, he's like, that one will get done faster and then I can steal it from you. So just a reminder of what, which I'll show you when it actually comes out, but just a reminder of what my starting point is. So whichever temperature whip hits their goal first, this will come in and replace it. Give me 1 second before we break here. Okay. I was trying to figure out if we needed to vote again this week, but no, we'll be okay. We'll be okay. Because I have so many that are like nearing their goal. I was like, oh, do I need to have another vote so I have a second piece? But nothing is getting replaced next. Like nothing is hitting the goal next week, so we'll be fine. So next week, you guys are gonna probably vote again. Okay, let me pause, open this door for this cat. I gotta figure out if I gotta pause and actually make breakfast for the boys. And then we'll come back and talk about plans. Okay, they said that the boys were both fine if I went ahead and filmed my plans before I made breakfast. So we usually, Sundays, it's either I make breakfast first thing in the morning or I do like a late morning, almost brunch type thing. So it's like a little after 10 right now. So they were like, just go ahead and finish filming and we'll just do it for brunch. I was like, all right, that works. Okay, so let's talk about plans, shall we? Okay, so let's go over Monopoly stitching first. The pieces, so like I said earlier, if I don't get all of my, I'm going to try real hard to get it done. But if I happen to not get my Monopoly stitching completed by next video, because I am working next set. Peyton has, does he have a game? I don't remember, but I am working next Saturday in the ER. So I don't know how much I'm going to get done, but, even if I don't get all of my stitching done, we are still going to play around a Monopoly and I'll just have to play catch up. So first up is going to be Winter Sampler. This is from Cooler Design Studio. I will go over fabric and stitch count, all that jazz when I actually work on the piece. But this is Winter Sampler. This is charted by Cooler Design Studio. Artwork is by Sandy Orton. And this is my starting point with it. Where's my board? This is my starting point with it. This piece will need 400 stitches on it. Next up is going to be, and I don't remember what is for what. Like, I don't remember what's rent or whatever. I do know this is for the person who's in jail. This next piece. This is my jail whip. This is another one of my whips of shame. Rocky Point, Dimensions Gold Collection, designed by James Hemsworth. And this is my starting point with it. This will get 200 stitches. Okay, next up is Mother Nature Christmas. This is from the Just Cross Stitch magazine from 2023. I think it's Perry Haiti is who designed it. And this is my starting point with her. And she will get 300 stitches. Okay, and then the final Monopoly whip is going to be Dreaming of Autumn Leaves. This is by Rosewood Manor. Charted by Rosewood Manor, designed by Karen Kluba. And this is my starting point. But I'm going to be avoiding this section over here because I have to frog again. I hate this section right here. I've had to frog it a few times. So we're going to be concentrating over in this area. for right now. But this will get 200 stitches. Okay. Next up, let's do temperatures. Okay, so starting with today, because I wrote these down last night, starting with today, the forecasted temperatures in Fahrenheit through next Saturday, the 11th, are 88, 87, 88, 91, 88, 87, 85. So, what does that mean? That means that in her garden, who only has 300 stitches left to complete her goal, will not get worked on, of course. But the one assigned to 0 and 5 came up one time. That is Bless This Nest by Busilla. Designed by Andrea Tachiera. And this will get 100 stitches. And I'll be focusing in this section right here. This part and this part are done. So that'll get 100. The one assigned to 1 and 6 is Magnificent Wizard. This is going to be a brief, I'm going to just show the whip because I already showed you the cover photo and all that. Just a reminder, this piece right here, this one came up one time, so this will get 100. The one assigned to 2 and 7 is Aurora Cabin. This came up twice. This piece right here, I had the fabric folded. It's really like that big. Oh my God. Okay, this piece came up twice, so this will get 200. So that will bring all of them below 1,000 stitches. So that's cool. Oh my goodness. And then the final one assigned to 3 and 8 is Frederick. This came up 3 times, so he will get another 300. So if I can get all of my temperature stitching done, that is going to bring the goals, looking at my board here, that's going to bring the goals down to 800 for Bless This Nest, 500 for Magnificent Wizard, 800 for Aurora Cabin, 400 for Frederick, and 300 for In Her Garden. So what we will do is we will vote next week for a second replacement piece. That's what we'll do. We'll vote for a second replacement piece next week. That way I'll have 2 on standby. Walking to Town will be the first replacement piece, and then whichever one you guys vote for next week will be the second replacement piece. Okay, now let's go over Gridiron Grind. So I don't know what the pieces are going to get because the game is today. And I forgot to write down who they're playing. Seahawks. They're playing the Seahawks, which I'm excited for, even though I don't watch football, because I really like the Seahawks uniform colors. Their uniform is sharp. I love their colors. But Bathy Scaife, the one I showed you earlier, that will be getting worked on for an undetermined amount of stitches because the game isn't until 4 o'clock. And then the other piece is that I didn't get to show you earlier because I didn't work on it, but this is the opposing team. So the Seahawks, whatever they score, will go on to Afternoon Tea, charted by Heaven and Earth Designs. Artwork is by Randall Spangler. This is the one my 12-year-old picked out. And this also needs 410 stitches to make up for last week's game. So let me tell you my starting point on this. I'm starting off at 999 stitches completed out of 184,805. I am at 0.54%. So 410 stitches to make up for this past week, plus the undetermined amount of stitches from the game today. To be determined. Okay. Now let's talk about Bake Off. Wrong book. Okay, Bake Off. We are going to be doing week number 5. Is that chocolate week? I don't remember now. I think it was. Anyway, week 5. We had, all right, so tiny spoilers because I gotta tell you kind of what happened so that you know what I'm stitching on. Week 5, we had 2 handshakes. 2. That was a shocker because we hadn't had any. Besides week 5, we only had 1 handshake all season. That was in week 2. So week 5, we had 2 handshakes, and the first handshake is going to get 100 stitches on Patchwork Quilt Room. That one is charted by Heaven and Earth Designs. Artwork is by Ciro Marchetti. And this is the max color version. And this is my starting point. This is my starting point with it. I am starting off at 8,059 stitches completed out of 343,000. I am at 2.35%. So this will get 100. And then the other handshake, oh, wrong week, hang on, I was looking at the wrong week. Okay, the other handshake is going to get 100 stitches on Sweet Bee. So I showed you the cover photo earlier. This is the one by Stitch Rovia. This piece here, I'm gonna do the 100 stitches working on the back stitching in this piece here. So it'll be 2 back stitches to count as 1 stitch. But this will get 100. I haven't forgotten about last week's makeup stitching. It's going to make another appearance. Okay, so that was the other handshake. The person who came last in technical also got eliminated. So it's 100 stitches for being last in technical and then 300 for being eliminated. It is also my makeup stitching from last week. So this will be the last time you see this for Bake Off. This is Christmas Cupcake charted by the Cross Stitch Studio. So 100 to make up for last week, 100 for, so 500 total. 100 for last week, 100 for last and technical, and then 300 for being eliminated. And God, the fabric is way bigger than what I need it to be, but I'm scared to cut it. So that is my starting point. This will get 500 stitches. And I am starting off at, this is not full coverage, by the way. I'm not stitching the background. I'm starting off at 2,328 stitches completed out of 67,748. I am at 3.44%. So 500 on this piece. And then the person who got, oh my God, the person who got first in technical, their piece will get 100 stitches for being first in technical, and that is Spicy Disaster. This is a kit from Leisure Art. Yeah, Leisure Arts. And this is my starting point. So this will get 100. And then the person who got Star Baker. Is that everybody except for Star Baker? Yeah, because I showed you the eliminated player. The person who got Star Baker, I'm very excited, is Mermaids of the Season by Bella Filipina. So this piece will get 200 stitches. I'm really hoping this baker seems to be doing kind of like not quite middle of the road, but not like the greatest. So I'm hoping that as the show goes on, that this person stays in the game a bit longer, and this will get a lot more work on it. But this is my starting point with it. So this will get 200 stitches for being Star Baker. And you're probably not going to get to see much because I think my 200 is going to end up being a lot of border, because I want to try to get to the autumn. The autumn one. But I need the border to count off of. And I'm thinking I gotta take a look and see if it would be easier to count over this way, or if I should bring this side of the border down and count over this way, if that makes sense. I don't know, we'll see. But it's probably just gonna be border that you end up seeing because of that. Okay, so that's all my bake-off stitching. I got a few more pieces to show you. Honeymoon Sunset. I'm going to continue to, I folded this the wrong way of what I wanted. There we go. Honeymoon Sunset, I'm going to continue to kind of work in this area right here, or I'll probably continue to work on filling this area in over here. Basically fill this in, bring this chair out, fill this in, bring this chair out, bring this out up a little bit more. Once I get a little bit closer, I'll work on filling these getting these part threads worked in. Because I'm back in my cross-country phase. I go through phases in my stitching where I really like working in diagonals, and then I really like cross-country, and then I really like diagonals, etc., etc. I go back and forth. So now I am anti-parking, anti-diagonal. After all that. But just for funsies, here's to Diagonal Man. Okay. Next up is going to be Catching Rays. This is my biggest piece. This one is 1,080,000 stitches. This is my piece for Whip into Shape. This challenge is created by Andrew the Runner Stitcher to tie along with his marathon training. So this is charted by this is charted by the Cross Stitch Studio. Artwork is by Abraham Hunter. It's 1200 by 900. I usually don't say that part when I'm just talking about my plans, but this is my biggest whip, so I like to brag on it. I am starting off, you can't even see everything I've done. I'm starting off at 35,802 stitches completed out of 1,080,000 stitches. I am at 3.32%. I work my way down to the bottom. what I'll probably do, so I know that I need, I think 300 stitches to make up for this past week, plus whatever he does this coming week regarding running for the marathon training. I honestly am probably going to work on getting these park threads worked in so that I'm starting off with a clean slate. And then I have one lowly park thread in this page here, that this almost completed page. I have one park thread hanging right here. I'll probably get that one. So I think this is going to be a work on getting the park threads worked in week. That's what my 300 stitches is going to go to. Plus whatever he ends up doing this week. I forgot about that. So 300 plus a to be determined amount. Okay. And then I'm not sure if I'm going to get to work on portals or not. But if I do, I'm going to work on portal 1 again. I would love to get like a higher stitch count in each portal, like 500, but I think that the 300 is a little bit more doable for me right now. So if I can get to it, I'll work in portal 1 for another 300 stitches. I'm just gonna keep rotating through them until, I'm just gonna keep rotating through them until the end of the year, like rotating through each portal. And then I think I have pulled out, I'm gonna set it aside for right now. I have pulled out Kaleidoscope from Yasmin's Made with Love to be part of my alphabet. But let me just put this over here. I'm gonna set that aside for right now because I have a lot of makeup stitching to do. And so we're just going to not worry about the alphabet stitching this week. And then the other thing I'm going to hold off on is replacing my open goal piece, like, you know, Holiday Quaker. Like at this point I would have replaced it with another piece that has like the Lorna was in Bake Off and it got eliminated, and so I would probably pull that out, be like, all right, let me go ahead and get that goal completed so it's off my board. But we're gonna hold off on that because I have a lot of stitching to do. So hopefully I can get everything caught up and then we can get back on track with pulling out Kaleidoscope and pick an open goal for next week to work on. So I think that's about it. So next week, also just a reminder, we will be voting again for a second replacement piece. And I think that's about it for right now. So take care, happy stitching, get a lot of stitches in, and I'll see you in the next video. Take care, everybody. Bye-bye.